This is the Lockpicker 1969 and welcome to my channel. I've created a video series which is a review of 8 different lockpick manufacturers featuring a set or picks from each for reference during the review. Each manufacturer will be covered in a separate video and there will be a playlist that can be used to listen to them in order. First and foremost, let me state that I have not and am not being paid for my opinions on any lockpicks, lockpick sets, or manufacturers I cover in this video review series. I ventured into lockpicking with some physical difficulties in that my hands not only suffer from arthritis, but my right dominant hand went through reconstructive surgery back in 2018. While not making picking impossible, it does add a degree of difficulty that I had to overcome. This video series goes through my journey of trying different manufacturers as well as the pros and cons of each set and manufacturer I tried. It should be noted that I did purchase additional sets just for this video review series so that I could try to provide a somewhat comprehensive review of several pick sets, brands, and manufacturers that are out there. The opinions expressed in this video series are my own, are based on the unique challenges that I personally faced going through my journey of lockpicking. Other people's opinions may differ with some of the sets I will be reviewing, and that is okay. Everyone's mileage may vary with each set, and people have their own favorites. I am in no way suggesting that there is any one product or manufacturer that exists and is above all others. My suggestion to any and all new and current pickers thinking of branching out their tools is to do your homework and research different products. If you run into people in the community who are giving you absolutes about what is best, run the other direction and keep researching. Anyone telling you that any one set or product is superior to any other is merely making a preference recommendation based on their experience and preference, which may not reflect at all in what your experience or preference winds up being. Make a short list of the manufacturers that you would like to check out. Order a couple of picks in the profiles you most commonly use, such as a short hook, a deep hook, and a rake, each from those manufacturers. Once you have those samples from each, compare them, work with them, put them through their paces of using them. Determine which you like the most, and perhaps order more in other profiles from that manufacturer. Do so slowly and add a few at a time, and be sure about your selection. Do order extras, if possible, of profiles you use most often, as breakage happens no matter who the manufacturer is at some point. I will be covering lockpick sets and tools from the following manufacturers. A inexpensive, or relatively inexpensive, lockpick set ordered from Amazon, Southward Tools, Law Lock Tools, Peterson's, Jimmy Long's, Multipick, Sparrows, and Dangerfield the Praxis set. I hope you enjoy the review. Hopefully people get something out of this, or at least maybe more information than they had before they watched it. Again, if you are a subscriber, thank you. If you are not yet a subscriber, please remember to hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications all so that you're made aware of new content. And please enjoy the review series. My journey into lockpicking started with the purchase of a set off of Amazon for about 30 bucks. The set had some very basic picks in it, and the thickness was 0.0265 inches, which is quite thick compared to most normal brands of picks. The set did come with the usual clear locks and a small book. There were a couple of tension wrenches that were included, as well as some Z-bar wrenches as well. However, these picks have a lot of sharp edges on them, and the roughness, they would need a lot of finessing, such as sanding, filing, and polishing to truly be useful. Now, for the most part, many beginners do not and will not do this refining of them, and suffer for it in their early results in their attempt at lockpicking, as feedback on real locks will be mixed up with the feedback caused by the picks not being refined. Further, I'm not sold on the fact that at $30 it makes any sense to do this work when there are other alternatives to choose from that do not require it from better manufacturers at close to the same price for a beginner set. This set included essentially a short hook. There looks to be a flag. There's another short hook there. Larger half diamond, smaller half diamond. This is a broken key extractor, and then a number of rakes. So a city rake as well as some other rakes in here, and you've got a snowman rake in here as well. And that's about it that came with this set anyways. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't maybe some $5 sets out there that could at least introduce someone to lockpicking, and perhaps that might not be a bad route to go if you're only going to spend $5 on it. But essentially, that's kind of where I'm at with my recommendation. This set here cost $30 at the time. Now, the plastic locks, as these clear plastic learning, training, whatever locks, are not really useful beyond understanding how the pins move, which quite frankly you can experience and see better in many of the videos that are out there on YouTube explaining it. They serve little purpose shortly after receiving the set. As far as the book goes, the book provided really doesn't help much, and there are videos on YouTube that will teach you much more than the book will ever teach you. There are some diagrams, but quite frankly, what's out there on YouTube is going to teach you a heck of a lot more than this book really ever will. All in all, it did get me into lockpicking, and it did help me learn some fundamentals, but I had outgrown the set in less than a week, and I was ready to move on to real and much better tools. So essentially, this set did influence me to buy lockpicking tools that were more advanced in order to further my learning and skills. I will probably never go back to this set for any purpose, but I've held on to it for sentimental and nostalgia purposes more than anything else. I also hang on to it hoping that one day my children will express an interest in lockpicking and I can pass the hobby on to them. This would allow them to learn lockpicking with less expensive tools until they get the hang of it and want to move on to better tools. While I'm not telling anyone to not to necessarily buy a set like this, I will say that if you're trying your hand at lockpicking and do not need the clear plastic locks, which for all intents and purposes won't teach you much for very long, for $30 you're better off purchasing a beginner set from Southord like the MPX-08 or 8-piece set or the PXS-14 14-piece set. Both of the Southord sets provide standard picks and will give most beginning pickers a leg up earlier in their picking journey. The thickness on the Southord sets is also better on those picks than you'll find with the cheap Amazon sets.